Today on JiK Labs, we're going to name some cells, making it easier for you to reference equations from different sheets within your workbook. Let's get started. So today we're going to look at making a summary sheet. So down here we have this new tab, Summary, and we want to know the sales. So the reason why we're looking at this as a summary sheet is because in our original data, when it was all one screen, we could have our totals here and we would be good to go. But on our new data, it is far too long to enter totals down at the bottom, or as this continues to grow, we have to keep moving our equations down. So it's a little bit easier if we just make a new sheet and it'll summarize all of our totals for us. So right now we want to look at sales, and as we all know, we're going to hit equal sum, and then we have to click on the data. There's a few ways we can go about this. We're going to click on the data tab, and we want to highlight all of our sales. So for right now, let's select all of our sales data, which is E3 to E82, and let's just hit enter. And that gives us all of the information. It sums everything. So if we want to come in here and look, we could see equal sum, open parentheses, data, explanation point. That's referencing a sheet in the Excel book, and it's summation of E3 to E82, which is great. It gives us exactly what we're looking for. A little trick for Excel is, so we're going to copy this, and we're going to paste the formula down below. So we're going to come in here, and we're going to lock this cell reference into place. And you can do that by highlighting the cell references and pressing F4, or coming in and hitting the $ in between the cell and row references. That locks the equation into place. So we're going to copy this guy, and we're going to paste him back down here. So if you were to enter an equation or put in an apostrophe in front of your equation, Excel will not reference that as an equation. Same thing if you're going to do a date. Sometimes it'll auto format. If you hit apostrophe, then enter 7-1 and hit enter, it's going to report it exactly as you've entered it. It ignores all the formatting and everything to that effect. But we don't need that right now, so we're going to keep this as it is, deleted. And so now we can see we have the sum of all of our sales right now, E3 to E82 on the data sheet, which is great until we start adding more data. So let's come in here again, and just to show you, let's go down to the bottom of our data and let's add $10 million of sales. Let's go back to our summary, and nothing is updated. That's because it is stopping at E82, and this is an E83. So to combat that, so that your sales and all your numbers will always update, is we can come in here and we're going to type in sum, data, explanation point, and we're going to do E to E. So this will add everything in the data tab in column E. If now we see that, if we come in here, we're going to put in the $ to lock these into place. Oops. Try not to hit enter before you're done. And then we're going to copy this down below, and we're going to put in the apostrophe in this equation as well, so you can take a look. So the numbers are completely different. Now if we come into the data and we enter our $1 million sale now, we will see that this has updated because this is referencing all of column E, where this is referencing E3 to E82. So this is the way we would want to keep going if we know this data is going to grow as we get more and more sales. So let's go back to data, delete this out. Now there's another way that we can enter this data and make life a lot easier for us, so we don't have to remember what column it is, where it is, or anything to that effect. It would be to name the cell references, sales, all of the sales totals on sheet data in column E, to give it a name. So we would be able to easily write that equation and not have to remember what column it is or anything to that effect. So let's go back to the data tab. We're going to highlight column E and we're going to go to formulas. And we're going to be looking in the center of the screen with defined names. We're going to click on define name. It's going to bring up a new window for us. And it automatically names it the header of that column. So right now we're going to call it sales amount, but I'm lazy and don't want to type all that in. So we're just going to call it sales. The scope is in the workbook, the entire workbook, and this referencing the data sheet in all of E column. So we're going to hit OK. And let's go back to our summary sheet. And now we're going to type equals sum, and we're going to type in sales. And there we go. Well, we just need to format it. And now you go. So we're going to copy, paste, and put in that apostrophe. And see, now we go. All three of these equations are reporting the same total, but they all go about it a different way. Some on the data sheet, E3 to E82. Some of the data sheet, all of column E, and sum of sales, which is a naming of a cell reference on the data sheet, all of column E. So as this data continues to grow, it will continue to add. It will also continue to add on this option, data E to E, but this is a little bit easier, and it just makes your life a little bit easier in the long run. Likely so, you can come in here and name GP dollars, just as we did before, back to formulas, define name, call that GP, and it is referencing the data in F to F, which is okay. We'll hit OK. We're also going to do it for cost, and we're going to do cost, which is all of column D on the data sheet, data tab. And there we go. We have named those cells. Now, let's just say we move things around, or you need to see the cell references, or you forget what you've named them. You can come up to the top center on the formulas and hit the name manager. That's going to bring up a new window. As you can see, we have the cost, which is data, D to D, all of column D. We have GP dollars, which is data, column F, as well as sales, which is data, E to E. We have some print areas and print tiles that we set up, which also happen to be in here, but you can just ignore those. But right now what we're looking at is cost, GP, and sales. So we're going to go ahead and close that window. We're going to come back to our summary sheet, and we're going to look at costs. And then we're going to equal sum, because we want to sum up all of the costs, and we're going to go cost. And we're going to hit OK. Same thing with GP dollars. We're going to equal sum of GP and hit OK. We're going to format these as dollars. So GP dollars is that. Let's check our math. Equals, because we know this GP dollars is sales minus cost, and those numbers equal. So as you can see, we could have gone through this process of typing this all in, any of these processes, but naming the cells just makes your life a little bit easier when you're trying to compile and analyze your data. It takes a couple of minutes to go through, highlight your cells, and name them, but once you do, your equations are much, much easier for you to type, and it shows you just how everything is much easier to enter. So by using the naming cell references, it makes entering our equations a heck of a lot easier. And as you can see, we just have to do sum sales, sum cost, sum GP. And these work with just not some equations, it works with all the equations within Excel. And these references are always going to be what you've defined them as. Thanks for watching JiK Labs today. Hopefully, we're going to save you some time when you start to analyze your data by naming the cells. Hopefully you liked this video. If you did, go ahead and like and subscribe and hit that little notification bell so you're up to date on all of our latest and greatest videos. See you next time. Today on JiK Labs, we're